The intentions of the other Master Strikers are pretty clear as of right now, but Noel Noa is in this gray area where you don't really know what his intentions are. If you frequently visit this channel, consider subscribing. Let's start by talking about his philosophy. In chapter 256, he straight away put the egoists through a training which was meant for them to show how well-versed they are physically. The first zone was for sprinting, the second and third zones were for stamina, the fourth zone was for jumping, and the fifth zone was for dribbling, which ended in having to do a controlled shot. In chapter 157, we go deeper into this, as Noel Noa told them that the room is meant to gauge their physical abilities. Bastard Munchen's philosophy is super rationality. He doesn't take invisible things like impressions or emotions into consideration either. However, he did make one exception when Isagi asked him to put Hiyori in after facing objection first. Only those who hold the proper numbers to win will be chosen as regular players. So what he does is that he'll take the data from the results of the training and from their matches for all 21 players. Those who make it to the top 11 will be used in matches and those below will not, which sounds pretty simple. Bastard Munchen is a team that wins with logic and data survival that's based on numbers. In chapter 158, Isagi went to Noel Noa personally to ask him what he has to do to increase his ranking. Noel Noa asked him if he was dissatisfied with his training, but Isagi responded that it wasn't the case, as he just wanted to win against Kaiser. Noel Noa understood as he asked Isagi what his weapon was, and as we obviously know by now, it's his direct shot. After that, Noel Noa asked him what was required for him to use that weapon. Isagi responded that he had to get past his opponents and be unmarked while near the goal. So Noa asked him what the necessary play is to do that. Isagi told him that he needed to have a wide field of view, stamina, and focus to keep searching for a hole in the opponent's defense during the 90 minutes of a match. So he asked him what abilities were necessary to ascertain that reality. But Isagi hesitated as he didn't quite know what it was. So Noel Noa asked him if he was unable to verbalize his own ideal self. Isagi said that he could, as he needs a variety of players and a base physical ability in order to handle any type of opponent. Noel Noa told him if he could beat him if he got all of those things, as Isagi didn't know the answer to it. So Noel Noa told him to review his entire way of thinking, as his own values had already failed him just now. You cannot not know something about your own plans, he said, as he needed him to visualize an ideal situation that he could explain and verbalize completely. Not knowing means that there is wishful thinking in his thought process, which is merely noise, and that lack of logic could destroy any plan. He doesn't choose people like that to be regulars, as Isagi asked him what he lacks right now. So he told him that he just needed to review his way of thinking, as he asked what the first thing in the morning was. Is his first action something that brings you closer to being the best in the world? Is every moment, second, minute, and day of his really doing anything for him to get closer to becoming the best? This is Noel Noa's philosophy, as he asked Isagi if Blue Lock really was a place to create the best in the world. So he asked Isagi to bring him an ideal that could win against him. From these interactions, you'd say that his driving force was isagiyoichi. But here's the problem with that. He didn't show that at first, because he didn't have enough numbers to get subbed in their match against FC Barca. He only accepted to be forced to use him for a single match. The reason for it was that the world wanted to see isagiyoichi, which was a deal that they made with their owners and sponsors. So what drove Noel Noa at first to join the Neo-Egoist League? The first reason I could think of is the fact that Noel Noa knows Ego Jinpachi personally. This is confirmed in chapter 204 that Ego Jinpachi was his former teammate and first ever rival. The worst kind of football fanatic is the person behind Blue Lock. So I believe he went into the Blue Lock project because he wanted to see what Ego was up to and how his players are. Another thing that perfectly ties into this would be his own interest in Blue Lock itself, other than Ego Jinpachi. I think the moment Noel Noa realized the potential of Blue Lock was after they won against the U20 team. Keep in mind that he's also getting closer to retirement age, so I don't think he would mind having a successor either. People could be thinking that if he wanted a reality like that, he should be more active as a coach, because to a lot of people it doesn't even feel like he's coaching properly. It's true that he isn't really direct to people, but they still have never lost a game so far, so he clearly knows what he's doing. I don't think that he doesn't care about them either, since Noah puts them through tough training and he also keeps a good eye on them as well. Another reason he could potentially be so passive in teaching is because he wants them to take the initiative instead. The third reason would be formed throughout his time in the Neo-Egoist League, which is his interest in isagiyoichi. And I think Bastard Munchin, their game against Manshine City, was the catalyst for that. as Isagi clearly showed how competent he is. The feat he displayed in that match was figuring out how Kaiser operates, which made him realize how to learn and apply metavision in real time. The second feat was how he put that into use in Chapter 185 as he got closer to the net with Corona and was preparing to take a shot. However, the only thing that messed up his trajectory was Kaiser, as he had to shoot the ball in between his legs. Kunigami saw that as the perfect opportunity to pounce as the ball was about to miss, and scored the second goal for Bastard Munchin, which gave Isagi the assist. If Kaiser didn't get in his way, that shot would have had a very high likelihood of succeeding. After this, Noel Noa was pretty surprised as he told himself to not let this break him. He may not notice, but this ticket he found to become the best in the world could even lead straight to him. Remember what Noel Noa said after subbing in through the star system in Chapter 192? In this game, he'd ally himself with whoever plays the most logically. Well, that's Isagi's third feat, as he got Noel Noa to ally with him. Isagi didn't understand, so Noel Noa told him again that he'd ally himself to whoever plays the most logically. And after that, he was even coaching Isagi as he asked Isagi what he saw. He could see several options as Noa asked if they could be achieved realistically. Isagi was confident that it would. So he asked him if there were any wishful thoughts such as that he didn't know. There were none, but there were so many options that he couldn't pick the best one. But Noa told him to get rid of unnecessary noise as he was too greedy. He needs to streamline his thought process. He needs him to think logically as he asks him what he desires the most right now. Isagi responded that he wanted to destroy Michael Kaiser, and this led him to his final feat, which was assisting Yukimiya and destroying Michael Kaiser at that moment, even though he made him unable to shoot properly for the second time that match. Watch this video next where I go over the reason Ego Jinpachi chose isagiyoichi.